welcome to Wreath Wednesday. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a greenery wreath. A fresh greenery wreath with greenery from the garden and other things. I have an oasis wreath that it's a foam base that I've pre-soaked overnight, and let's get started. Right, so I've got my wreath base here. I have just cut the edges off quite roughly with just an ordinary kitchen knife. It just makes the wreath a bit more round, just on the edges, stops harsh edges showing through, and gives you a round to work with, and then on the inside as well, just on that. So you can see it's not very neat, but it won't matter because it will be hidden. Then you're going to need some ribbon. Now I've got this lovely red ribbon. You might want to check where you're going to hang the door as to how long and how you're going to fix the wreath to the door, how long a ribbon you want to hang it from. You might want to hang it to the door, or you might want it to go over the top of the door and hang on the inside of the house, which will help with I don't want it stealing your beautifully designed wreath. So I'm just going to put this on to start with, so that it's under all the greenery. Make a loop, bend the ribbon in half, make a loop, put the ends through, and then just, so at least that's there, ready and done. Now onto the greenery part. Right, so I'm going to start with some ivy. I've pre-cut some of this into fairly manageable length, but I probably need to trim it as I go around. I'm just going to cut one end into, like you would with fresh flowers, just cut on the diagonal, and then just poke it into the wreath form. Now you're going to be working in the round, so make sure you're always going in one direction. I tend to go around this way. With the ivy, you sort of need to, the ivy will grow in a natural direction, so you just want to kind of go with that too, really. You can leave them a bit longer and maybe wire them in, but I'm just going to just loosely make sure I've got a bit of ivy all the way around the wreath. I think with ivy, it's quite nice to have a bit sort of spilling out the edges. So I've started sort of in the middle. Most of the ivy's in the middle of the wreath, but I want some sort of around the edges, really, so that it pops out the sides, as it were. So as you can see, this is I've got to with the ivy. Looks very sparse at the moment, but we've got a nice bit of movement going on round here. At points I've stuck both ends of the ivy into the oasis. That just sort of helps keep it in place. Now I'm going to move on. Now I'm going to fill in some of the gaps with some of this lovely boxwood type leaf. It might sort of help to hold some of the ivy down and just to cover up some of the woody stems of ivy in the middle. I'm going to work on the inside of the wreath. I've cut most of these sprigs into just sort of single sprigs or small groups of 3 cutting, and also I've cleaned off some of the dead sort of flowers that were on here. Just filling in the spaces, working again in the round, in one direction, the same direction. Sometimes it's a good thing just to keep lifting it up and looking at it just to see that, because you're going to be looking at it straight on the door, just to check that it's forming in the way that you want it to form. So here's how it's looking at the moment. We've got the ivy on the outside, the boxwood quite thickly in the middle and sort of middle and towards the inner edge. This will be the top with the ribbon. Now I'm going to add some holly and some extra bits. So as you can see, I've added in some holly. Here, here and here. I cut my sprigs into sort of 3 holly leaves, but I added in 1 sprig, and because the colour is very similar, it doesn't really stand out, so I've just added in more holly leaves. I've then put 3 fake berries in the centre of where the holly is, and I've done that arrangement in 3 different places around the wreath, always trying to balance it out. Now these are fresh, real roses, which I've put in between the holly bunches. I've put them in groups of 3. It's the great thing about using an oasis-based wreath form, that you can use fresh flowers and they will be stuck into the oasis and be able to get their water from the oasis form. The other thing is you can always take them out. If they die, that's the length of stem there that I've just poked into the oasis. And if your wreath is up for a while and your roses start to die, you can always take them out and then add in some more fresh ones, and also they'll change the look as they get a bit older. These roses will open slightly and be a bit more fuller, and changes it, which is nice to come home to. I've then added a bow at the bottom. I've made it a double loop bow. You just tie it in the same way as a normal bow, but with 2 loops, and I've put some wire in the back of the bow and stuck it into the wreath. So I'm quite pleased with the way it looks. It's circular, it's fairly balanced out across with the different elements at different points, and then the ivy is quite dynamic and random. I don't like anything too neat myself, really. I'm quite pleased with this one. The only thing I would change is maybe a different colour. Use another green that might offset some of it. It'd be nice if this ivy, for example, was variegated in colour. But for now, it's great, and I can always do another one closer to Christmas.